Alright everyone, this is my iPhone 5 versus HTC One comparison video. Just for a spoiler alert, I picked the iPhone 5. Only because I've been using an iPhone for 6 years though. If I never used one before, I'd pick the HTC One. So the first thing I want to compare is form factor between the two phones. The big thing between the two is the screen size. The HTC One is obviously a much bigger screen. Now, this is, if you want a bigger screen, you would want to go with the HTC One. The color of the two screens, I would say, is very comparable. I am not an expert on, deciphering which one has more pixels or more whatever that shows up. They both look bright. They both look great to me. I like watching videos on both. The HTC One does weigh a little bit more than the iPhone 5, and in my pocket, I did notice that the HTC One does obviously fill my pocket a little bit more. For you ladies out there who are going to carry this around your purse, you probably don't care, but for all the guys who put it in your pocket, I noticed it was a little bit bigger, but probably because I was just used to the iPhone. And then the one thing as far as form factor goes, the home button. On the HTC One, there is no home button. You have to use the top button. On the iPhone, you've got the lovely home button. So while you're using the phone, even when the phone is shut, I just couldn't get used to it. I really thought there should be a button here to get to the home screen on the HTC One. And actually, when you're in the phone, having the actual tactile home button that you can touch made a lot more sense to me than having a digital button that I couldn't get used to. Now, I did use the HTC One only for a month, and I've been using an iPhone for a long time, but that was a big difference maker for me on why I prefer the iPhone. Next thing to compare was the phone book and text messaging between the two phones. I would say just in general, text messaging and using the phone was about the same. However, the phone book on the iPhone was a lot more intuitive, and I actually found the phone book on the HTC One a little bit hard to use. Swiping between the different menus on the phone was just a little difficult to get to my favorites, to my history, to get to my contacts. I just found it cumbersome, and it was also confusing when I was going to make a call. It already shows me who my last call was, so sometimes I thought that I was calling that person, or that that was the person I was supposed to call, and it was just kind of confusing. It was a weird thing. On the iPhone, it's obviously very straightforward. When you get to the keypad, when you get anything else, there's nothing else on screen. It's just exactly what you're looking for. And as far as text messaging goes between the two phones, I will say that I prefer iPhone only because the majority of my friends are on iPhone, so iMessage is really easy to use. And group text. So I find myself in a lot of different group texts, not using texting apps. And HTC One on the Android platform, I get lost in those. So if I reply to a group text, it usually only goes to the person who sent the initial text. It's a small thing, but it's just a difference. When a lot of people have iPhones, you kind of want to stick with the one that you have. So as far as audio and sound goes between the two phones, the HTC One takes this category by a mile. The built-in Beats by Dre speakers just blow the iPhone out of the water. There's a comparison video that I'll let you guys watch right here that I grabbed from somebody else because they did such a good job, so check that out. And you can hear for yourself just how good the HTC One sounds over the iPhone. So, and when I'm using it on speakerphone or anything else when I'm on a call, HTC One is just better. Watching videos, the sound quality in HTC One is better. So pretty much overall, the HTC One dominates. And everyone knows the iPhone speakers are just terrible. So as we take a look at using apps in both of these phones, I think it's pretty fair to say that they're about similar. I mean, if you're jumping between Twitter and Facebook and Mail and all those things, it's pretty much the same. The one thing where the HTC does have an advantage is the notification center. I'll pull both of those down at the same time, but the HTC One's notification center is so much more well organized than the iPhones. I mean, the iPhone gives me a bunch of stuff that I don't know who uses this and wants to see their calendar. I want to see all the notifications, and when I get to them, it's just, I don't know, it's not well organized. I got to give credit to HTC One. The notification center was probably my favorite thing on this phone, and I will say that the usability between the two phones is about the same. The one advantage the iPhone would have, though, is when you're in an actual app, so let's say you're browsing the web, the swiping back feature when you're on a different page as you go from page to page is huge. The HTC One doesn't have that. They've got the little back button here that will take you back to things. It just was really hard to get used to. I naturally wanted to swipe backwards because I was used to iOS 7. So I would give the advantage to the iPhone on as far as like in-app usage, and the other reason is because most apps come out for iPhone and iOS first. And that's not a fault of HTC, that's just the Android platform, but to me that's kind of a deal breaker. And now, battery life. I actually don't have a winner here. I only used the HTC One for about a month, and I will say that the one thing I really loved was the battery pack that they sent me. For iPhone, you can get a Mophie case, and maybe there are battery packs. I don't know. I've never looked into one, but it was really cool having a battery pack that I could just plug in. I don't have to have my computer or a wall charger, and it was a double charge for the phone, which was nice. But I found that using the phone, making calls, sending texts, playing on apps, browsing the web, watching videos, they're about the same. I do think the iPhone charges a little bit faster when plugged into the wall, but I didn't necessarily test it. I don't think there's a huge winner here, so you're not going to be unhappy one way or the other, and you're going to need to plug your phone in throughout the day no matter what. Okay, so the last thing I want to compare between these two phones is usability. And for me, that means like the decisions that were made and how you use the phone. The iPhone is very simple to use. Apple makes all the decisions for you. They do all the designs. They don't really let you customize too much. I know you can jailbreak your phone and do all that stuff, but for me, I love what Apple has made in this iOS. I like the way things work. I like how intuitive things are. I like the buttons. I like the colors. I mean, everything just seems like it works for me. As far as the HTC One goes, and this is where Android users are probably saying this is a plus, you can customize everything. But for me, that's a downfall. I don't want to have to take the time to set up all my feeds and to set up all the different things. Like one thing that doesn't happen naturally on this phone, when you get a text message, it doesn't light up the phone and show you the message. It beeps and you can open it and you can see the message, but there's an app you have to download to make your text messages show up when they arrive. So that, for me, I don't want that customization. I love what Apple has done. I think for right now, for me, I'm used to Apple. That's probably why I said I overall pick it, because of the usability and design choices they make. But if you want to customize everything, the HTC One and the Android platform is definitely the way to go. So that, my friends, is my comparison video. As I said in the beginning, I would choose the iPhone 5 if I was going to pick between the two of these, but that's only because I've been using the iPhone for about 6 years. If it was just between the two of these and I'd never used either of them before, the HTC One would be the winner. So congratulations, HTC, on that. Thank you to the folks at HTC who sent me a phone and let me try it out for a month and just see how it was. And I hope you guys will check out both phones the next time you're thinking about getting a phone, see which one works best for you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them below in the comments. I've added a little bit more stuff in the description, and we'll see what I review next. You can also check out the Fitbit Flex and Jawbone Up review video I did a little while ago. These are the only two comparison videos I've done, and I look forward to doing more because they're fun, and I just love electronics and gadgets. So we'll see you guys later. Thanks so much.